Anyway, here we go. So this build is going to be called, I'm not sure yet. I haven't come up with a name, but I'll name it and I'll put it in the video title. This is pretty much the first build that I've really used in this patch, and it's pretty amazing. It reminds me of 1.6, where I could have high burst, but it's better because now we have an ultimate on Stam Sorc that we can actually use that scales with us. So Stam Sorc is in a great place because of that. Wouldn't say it's like the strongest Stam class. Nightblade can burst better, single target. DKs and Templars have great abilities to heal with mending. Crit Surge is pretty nerfed, and I don't use it very often. Like almost never. It's not that I can't use it, it's just that I don't remember to put it up. Or I don't have time, actually, is really the thing. Because generally I don't need it. And there's some times where it would help me with healing, but it's just not as good as just reapplying Vigor, Rally, and staying on offense. So this build, it's very offensive. It's super offensive. And just for clarity, the way I have it built and the way I'm going to be showing it, it is not a 1vx build, but it's not to say you can't 1vx with it. You definitely could 1vx with it. You have to do it very carefully, though. I think I have one clip of me 1vxing so far, because I've mostly done small grouping, and I'm more of a small group guy. I will do 1vxing, and I will make adjustments if needed, or just come up with a different build. But honestly, even if I 1vx, it'll probably be a build very close to this, but modified just on Stam regen. The reason I stress that it's not a 1vx build is because the Stam regen's really low. If you run out of regen in the middle of a fight with this, or I'm sorry, if you run out of Stam in the middle of a fight with this, you're done. So you have to manage your Stam. And there's ways to do that. The point is, if you run out and you're being clobbered, you're done. So you really want to be careful when you're below half, getting down towards even lower, 20%. You need to get your Stam up, and you're going to be doing that with Dark Deal. If you let it fall and you get CC'd,
son of a bitch,
you're shit out of luck. So it's something you'll have to learn if you've played the Stam Sorc anything like I've played it in patches before. In patches before and all my other builds, I usually had somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 stamina regen. That's a lot. This build, I think I have just under 1,000. Let's get to it. Let's start looking at the numbers. I have 980 Stam recovery. This is really, really low. In general, people will get away with lower Stam recovery this patch than other patches on all builds. There's a couple reasons. One, damage can be higher. Fights can be shorter if you build that way. Heavy attacks can restore you some stamina. And in general, the way I function on this build, I don't need as much recovery. Playing the DK with Stam recovery like this hurt more than it does on Stam Sorc. Now, on a Stam DK, I could get my stuff back by using like Obsidian Shield or whatever, which would restore it. Now, on Stam Sorc, what you're going to have is Dark Deal. This is really going to be the core of why you're dropping your Stam regen so much. This skill is actually not bad this patch. It's pretty damn sweet, especially on a build like this. Now, what's been the problem with Dark Deal? Well, Dark Deal didn't restore much stamina before, but now it restores more. But the other thing is you can use it effectively on the go. It will keep up with your move speed. So if I put up Minor Expedition with this shield, and then I roll and I have Major Expedition, I can be on the go like this. So generally, if I'm in a fight and I'm at like half stamina, I can just barrel roll with that, streak behind this wall, and I'll Dark Deal up like 3 times, you know, and I'm good. You know, I just gave myself like 15k stamina, and I'm ready to come back in and clobber a little more. That's how you're going to be managing your stam, and I'm going to try to show some examples of that. But that's why that's so low. So yeah, my build is so much more offensive than anything you've seen before. Bulldozer, way more offensive. Whatever it is. I've never had a PvP build this offensive, not even close. I've never had a PvP build where I ran food only. I don't run drink on this build. Like, I run this food. Max health, max stam. And I also dropped my healthy jewelry, and I put on robust jewelry, 3 robust. This is a bit pricey, getting robust rings, but you're gonna want to fetch this. We'll get to items and all that. See, I used to have these ones, the healthy ones, but now I have robust. So all in all, I used to have like barely 30. Did I even have 30k stam? No, I didn't even have 30k stam last patch because I wasn't running food and I was running healthy jewelry. I have way more max stam than I did before. And I also have more health as a result of running food instead of drink. So I've totally clobbered my stam regen. The only thing I have is Serpent. It's the only way I contribute to my recovery. And it's even debatable if I could drop that, but I don't like to drop it that much. I like to have some stam regen to some extent. But it's possible I could drop this at some point. As I get used to using Dark Deal more in fights, it's very possible I drop this. But we'll see. Other than that, my weapon damage is low right now. But let me show you basically how I operate with that. I'm going to run over to IC and see if I can just fuck around with somebody, and if not, then I will then I'll just hit mobs and show you. I'm gonna hit mobs either way and show you how that works. So while we're traveling, weapon crit isn't too bad. Let me show you the pots I use. New pots I use this patch. I used to use a movable, health, and stam. I don't do that anymore. I have a movable, expedition, and stam. These are the pots I'm using now. So these are going to work very well with your hurricane, giving you minor expedition. And as a result, you become the speed demon on the battlefield. And if you're at work, you get more move speed there, which is why I always love work. So you're still taking advantage of the Stam Sorc thing, as I like to say. It's our move speed. It's our mobility. It's our ability to move around the battlefield and do stuff. That's really the Stam Sorc strength, and you're playing into it here. The big difference is, again, you have a lot of punch with this build. I don't know how you can get even more punch. I really don't. But anyway, I'll go over the equipment here. I'll go over the skills and show you how it works. Let me dump my tel bars real quick, and we'll get to it. What else is important here before I jump into the nitty-gritty of skills? And you saw the general stats. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the buffed weapon damage, because that's very important. Let me go out there on mobs and just show you that real quick. So I'll go over equipment and I'll explain to you what's happening here. So 3-piece agility jewelry is what I'm running. All robust, all weapon enchants. Okay, that's your jewelry. Over here on the body, I have 5-piece alchemist. All impen. So this is max health, passive weapon damage, and when I drink a potion, I get another 661 weapon damage for 15 seconds. Okay, more weapon damage, basically. Up here, I'm running 2 Kina. Now, I'm used to using Kina. I get 1 passive weapon damage, and then I get, you know, if I proc it, another 516. Just weapon damage out the ass, right? Okay. And then I have a bow with the enchant of weapon damage for 5 seconds. So after I pop something with my arrow, 5-second window, I have amped weapon damage as well. This doesn't need to be a Clever Alchemist bow, it just is. Because I have this up here. The reason I don't run a Master's bow is because don't need it, and I don't run Maelstrom bow because it doesn't carry over that weapon enchant. This weapon enchant, when you shoot something, it lasts for 5 seconds. You switch to your two-hander, and now you have this buff. So what happens is basically I'm going to go in, I'm going to pop a pot, it's going to proc Alchemist. I'm going to shoot something with my bow twice. It's going to proc Kina, and it's going to proc this. And then I'm going to switch over to my two-hander, crit rush in, and drop the bomb. That's how it happens. It's huge upfront burst. It is just, and what it really is it's controlled burst. So people ask me, FENGRUSH, why aren't you using dual wield or whatever? The reason I'm using bow in this build is, again, I can initiate on a target from range. I'll quickly review skills too real quick. Poison injection is buffed this patch. It's very, very strong. So when you go in on your target, you're going to go like light attack, poison injection. You would have procced Keen at this point and done everything you needed. You're going to hit poison injection on them. Poison injection in general is just very, very strong. I can't stress it enough. It's been buffed, and it's very effective. So when these guys get below half, one tick of this is going to be like a light attack and a half. Like, it's good. You know, you're going to want that. It's just more damage happening in a very, very tight window. I've got Shuffle here, which self-explanatory. This is your evasion, medium armor skill. Hurricane here. So we're using Hurricane. I was afraid this would drain my stamina. It really isn't because of how I'm running this build with Dark Deal. So that's good. We have Vigor here, and then we have Dark Deal. This is my back bar for the bow. Up front, this is just like it was before. Like I've always said, I don't know how to change this two-hander bar, man. It's just too good for Stam Sorc. Crit rush to close. We have Dizzying Swing now instead of Wrecking Blow, because this will knock them up. We have Rally. We have Reverse Slice. And by the way, I'm using Reverse Slice. And I'll show you why in the videos. You could use Executioner, but I wouldn't recommend it. Reason being is because there isn't a huge difference here, okay? So you strike the enemy for 5k physical damage, deals up to 300% more damage to enemies with less than 50% health, or deals up to 350%. So you can do 50% more on a low health target, but you're already doing 300%. You know, it's like, am I missing out on much there? Not really. And other enemies are taking 91% of the damage inflicted from the primary target. That's huge. That's why I'm using Reverse Slice, and I'll show that to you on mobs here in a second. Give you an example of how effective that is. So yeah, Reverse Slice, and over here, Dawnbreaker of Smiting. It's here. We got a Stam Ultimate, and it is amazing. It's so good. So you're going to be using Smiting. Smiting has the knockdown. Flawless doesn't have the knockdown. You want to use Smiting. So yeah, that's pretty much that. On the back bar, which I don't use much now, not because it's not good, but because this build is so effective at killing, I rarely have time to go to this bar and do anything with it. If I'm in a long fight in a room, I would go to this bar. Rearming Trap is very strong. It's a really, really strong skill. You put this down, it gives you minor force, that's great. But this damage it does is fucking strong. This skill is really effective. If you can use it on whatever Stam class, man, do it. The only reason I don't is just because I need everything else on my other bar. But again, if I get stuck in a room with a lot of people, what I usually do is I go behind a box or whatever when I'm like, you know, after I've come in, I've initiated, I'm doing my thing, and I need to buy time, and it's just a long fight. I'll usually cover the room with caltrops, put down a rearming trap, and put up Surge, because I'm going to be in this bitch for a while. They're the fights I use this for, when it's like 2v20 and I'm just in a room for a while. That's when you want to come over to this bar and put these 3 buffs up. These 2 over here are on the other bar, but this pretty much guarantees when I come to my overload bar, even if I get knocked up or something, I can still Vigor and I can still Dark Deal. And when you dark deal, it heals you for a lot too, but apply vigor too. So if someone bashes you in dark deal or they disable you, because you're very vulnerable when you're doing this. If somebody's on you, you're very vulnerable. But if you have vigor on you and then you just get knocked up or whatever on the ground and vigor's ticking, you can just CC break and continue dark dealing and you will out heal their damage. And then you just throw your shit on the ground, you go back to this bar, you know, reapply Hurricane, reapply Shuffle, do one more Vigor, Light Attack, Poison Injection, switch back here, you can Rally Burst Heal if you need or whatever, and get back to it, and go back to work. So that's the skills, that's how they're laid out. Let me show you in general what this burst looks like. Okay, so again, you go into a fight, rally's always up. You're always running rally. Hurricane, Shuffle. We're going to go in here, 2 light attacks. Oh, look, here's a guy. This is perfect. You know what? He might be here as an example. He might be watching the stream, so maybe we can show. Let me get rid of these mobs real quick. Let's see if he wants to jam. This isn't really a dual build, but I have faith in my damage. Let's do it. I'm going to pop a pot. I'm going to light attack twice. Proc Kina, go in. Now he's blocking. There's Dawnbreaker. And I can just execute. Now he was like a tanky guy too. He let his block down for a second and I knocked him down, so he's going to die. If you don't block this damage, you will fucking die. It does a lot. No matter what your health is. It does a lot. Again, it's a lot of upfront damage, and you might wonder, like, what do I do after this is gone? Well, you still have a lot of damage, okay? Like, you still are rocking high stamina, and you're still rocking, like, let's see, with just brutality up, I have 3870 weapon damage with almost 36k stamina. When I shoot something with a bow, let's see what it, the little weapon damage thing. Just so you can see in intervals what you're actually gaining from this build. Here we go. So, no? Why didn't that work? Alright, with Kino we're at 4K. Is this shit enchanted? Is this working? Okay. See how my stam sucks, my regen? But I can just fill up with Dark Deal, you see that? And I'll just do this again. Just so much damage, but here, let me do it with a pot now and show you. That's on that. Two-hander, I'm at 6k weapon damage, okay? Like, look at that shit. It just doesn't even make sense. It's really high. So you're hitting people very hard. That's the point. Here's the other beauty of this build. I kind of went away from Maelstroms for a bit, but what's great about this build is I can switch back to the Maelstrom Greatsword here, and I get the passive weapon damage. What's also good about this, and I'm not really using it because, again, it doesn't matter, but I will be using it more, is I can put a poison in here, right? And then this your enchantment doesn't work when you apply a poison, right? But with a Maelstrom weapon, if you have a poison on here, you still get that 189 weapon damage. So with this build setup, you get the weapon damage enchantment, you flip back to here, you can have a poison and still gain that extra bonus weapon damage. So it's really nice. That's why I like this setup. So that's pretty much that. Oh yeah, let's show you reverse slice. That's really good. Reverse slice is awesome. See how I can run through and just fill up my stam bar like that? And I don't even have drink, and look at my magicka regen. It's good. Now you want to use streaks less. I mean, you only want to use them as needed. But yeah. Let's pull things and get them together in here. So we'll just do this, do a heavy attack, Dawnbreak. I mean, everything will die to this. It's great. I didn't really get to show reverse slice. There we go. See the splash it's doing? And I'm going to explain to you why I'm using it a little more. But it does splash. So it splashes in, like, I think it's a 5-meter radius. Anything around will get hit. Yeah, 5-meter radius it will execute on. Awesome. Gap closer struggling a little bit. Alright, I hit that thing too hard. My bad. So I fucked up that example. Whatever. You hit hard. So, whatever. But I'll show you more about reverse slice here in a minute. I want to show you some other alternatives you can use. You don't have to use Kina. In fact, I don't recommend Kina as a good beginner's build. I showed you why I use it and why it's good. Here's the other thing. When you proc Kina, it's going to make your ult cost more. So you have to really know how to use Kina, or you're, you know, going to fuck up. What's this guy doing? Let's just end him. You have to know how to use Kina. It's very important. See, watch my ult right now. Watch my ult cost. It's going to go up here when I proc Kina. See how it went up? So you could have Dawnbreaker ready and it could be on the edge. And then you proc Kina and suddenly you can't use Dawnbreaker. Which really sucks, right? So you have to learn how to use your ult effectively with Kina. And you also have to manage your resources effectively with Kina. Kina is not an easy set to use. I'm used to using it because I've been using it for a couple patches now. And I can also weave it. Like, for example, you can still weave it like this. Fuck, man. Everything dies too quick. Let's try this guy. I think he has more health. So you can still do the light attack, wrecking blow, and then light attack. And I can proc it that way. So if I'm fighting a healer, I'll go in with the crit rush, right? Light attack, uppercut, light attack, proc Kina, and then I can Dawnbreaker or execute. So those guys that have a lot of health and they're really defensive, I drop the real big blast on them in that respect. Because sometimes you don't have the ability to do a double light attack from range. Sometimes you do a light attack, a poison arrow, a crit rush, a light attack, uppercut, light attack, Dawnbreaker, execute. So, I mean, it's hard to explain. There's different combos for different targets. You want to know your target when you're going in at him, what you're going to actually need to kill that guy. Because sometimes you can kill him with just a crit rush and a Dawnbreaker, and that's it, and then you execute him. Sometimes you need to pack on more heat. You have to see your target and know what you're about to strike. Know how much, time you want to invest in killing him. Because you can go from target to target to target with this shit. It's very effective at doing that. Honestly, this is like the best fucking build I've ever made. I'm just having a ball with it. But let me show you some alternatives you can use. Again, I don't recommend Kina for starters. Practice it, get used to it. It's beautiful if you can use it. But Malabeth is broken right now. So, God knows how long it's going to take ZeniMax to fix this, but this shit is broken strong, okay? This 30% increased healing from all sources applies to your rally. It applies to your vigor. It'll also apply to your crit surge if you have it up. But this set doesn't have a cooldown. It can proc multiple times. And it's just so goddamn strong, man. It really is. I would if you have Malabeth and you want to be a huge dick, then use this. Most of the times I don't use Malabeth just so I can say I killed you without Malabeth. No joke, because this set is really strong. It's so effective, it's out of control. The other alternatives you could use one Blood Spawn, one Kina. I don't prefer that because I know how to use Kina. And if you know how to use Kina effectively, it's better, in my opinion. You could use 2 Blood Spawn. I wouldn't bother with Engine Guardian. I think you're fine on resources. You don't have to do that. So yeah, they're your options. But the rest of this stuff, I would do it as is and try to get robust stuff here. You can work with healthy in the meantime until you need it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And these expedition pots are great. Again, I'll show you why real quick. So Hurricane gives you minor expedition. What's really cool about Hurricane is it gives it to you the full duration. It's not just 5 seconds. 15 seconds, minor expedition. You'll see me casting this more often than I need to because I'm so used to the old one where you only got it for 6 seconds. Boundless Storm. But anyway, you're using this Minor Expedition, and if you pop the pot, now you have both expeditions. Now you're fast. And look, I'm only expending my sprint costs. And then every now and then I transfer over some of my mana to Stam, and I'm just a bullet train for a little bit. And I can do this in PvP. So I can move around the fight, target to target, you know, after I've initiated with my pot, and I'm just rolling, baby. And if you don't want to use, like, if you don't have the pot and it's not up with the bow build, you get a major expedition for, like, what is it, 4 seconds after you roll dodge, right? Is the other part of using a bow. 5 seconds after you roll dodge, you get this. Now this will eat your stamina more than the pot and sprint, but it's an alternative when you don't have the pot or you don't want to use it, is that you can just use it with the bow. Which I'll do, like, if I just need to close in a target real quick and just get to, like, some random guy running by, then, you know, I'll just buff. I'll do that. I'll roll dodge. Maybe I'll sprint up and blink a little bit too, and then I'll gap close with crit rush, and I'll take him down. So you really get to be all over the place with this build. Just move around, get to your target, take him out, high burst, get out, and learn to use Dark Deal. You don't want to let your stam run out. It's really important. When I was 1vxing, I was using a drink in between fights, and I wish I had a clip to show you. I don't have one cut, but what I mean by this is I could. This is really advanced. I wouldn't even bother this, but I'm just gonna mention it. Like, I can do this and run drink, and if I do this, I can just flood my like. Let me show you. If I say I'm in the middle of a fight, I use this 1vxing, and I think I'm gonna 1vx with this build, doing it this style. I'm just show you what I mean. So here I am in the middle of a fight. I emptied my stam, right? I switched to drink, and just look how quickly I can fill up my stamina with a drink. Like, I just filled it up, and then I would switch back to food, and I'd come back into the fight full stam. Like, I just filled up my whole goddamn thing. So if you watch me on stream using this build, you may see me doing that. I'm probably going to download an add-on just so I can swap between food and drink easier when I get to 1vxing. But in group PvP, I don't do that. And this build, I mainly use it for group PvP. This build shines in group PvP if you have what I like to do, which is a small squad of just 3 to 4 people. You know, me, a couple damage dealers, and like a tank/support healer. That's what I've kind of always run, and we can do a lot of damage now that Stam has some options. Finally, I'll just review quickly CP. This is nothing that took a lot of energy. In fact, I just did it right before I did this. My points were screwed up. But I have Warlord. I've got about 10% reduction here. Sprint speed, I have some in there for obvious reasons. I'm sprinting a lot, so I take advantage of that. Mooncalf, I don't have many points in here because I just don't have much regen. And I have a shitload in tumbling because you're going to be CC breaking a lot, right? So that's honestly where a lot are. That's where a lot gets consumed for me. I CC break nonstop, and I'm rolling nonstop. I'm chain rooted in fights and stuff, so I constantly... Tumbling's, as far as I'm concerned, is very useful right now. I have some in Blessed for healing. Over here, a little more balanced. I have Mighty here, and I have a lot in Precise Strikes for when I crit, I hit hard, and I want to. Not much in Piercing. Maybe you could do more there, but whatever. Again, I honestly, I'm not the best min-max guy in the world on numbers. I kind of rely on others, and I just test things, and if it feels good, I do it. Resistant, I didn't have any points in this actually before I looked, which was stupid, but you definitely want some points in Impen. And then I just have a bit of a spread here. I have more into Hardy because there's a lot of physical damage out there, and the real heavy burst from like Stam Nightblades and stuff. You're gonna want some coverage there, and a little in quick recovery. So that's pretty much that. As far as me using a sword, swords versus mauls, I don't really know, man. Different people say different things. FENGRUSH, why aren't you using a maul? Well, swords Some people say swords do better. Some people say mauls do better. I haven't tested it. I could get a definitive answer. I just really don't test it because I don't feel I need to. I think here's the real answer on it. Swords are better for your light targets. And when I'm in a fight, I want to get rid of my light targets quick, my healers, heavy damage dealers, people that are fragile. The people that are tanky, you save them till the end of the fight. Your maul would be better against them, but who cares? You want to take out the people that you need to get rid of quicker because maul is 20% armor reduction. That's still percent based unless I'm totally missing something there. But sharpened is absolutely key. Sharpened is flat, and that reduces a lot. So you want sharpened. That's a must-have.
Son of a bitch.
But whatever. Sword or whatever. I honestly like how the sword looks. That's part of the reason I use it. But it still works as well as the maul for me. So I dig it. I'm going to show some clips of this in action. You can see them on my YouTube. I'm cutting clips constantly. I'm having a lot of fun with this build. I think this highlights things better than I can do right now. Again, I use this in small group builds, and that's what I'm going to show you. I have friends that use similar builds. We have controlled burst, and you can see what controlled burst can do against greater numbers. Which is what you're going to see. So I'm going to go through a couple clips, kind of skip around maybe to save time, but I want you to be able to see what this can do. And again, this is just the best, fastest way I can show you. You can see more clips of it on my YouTube. Pretty much everything you see from my Stam Sorc right now is going to be running this build. So I'm going to take myself off here just so it doesn't look weird, but this is video cut from my stream, just highlights posted. I guess I can mute it and just, well, I don't need to mute it, but I'll talk over it a little bit. So like right here, I see people front dooring. I tell my group to come, and we're gonna hit them together. Again, controlled burst. Now you'll see I'm waiting on my pot, right? I'm waiting for my guys to come up. Watch when I pop my pot. Just pop my pot right there. Just come in with a Dawnbreaker. I just did it real simply. He did the same thing, and we just double comboed it. Now you see how they're piled up there? That's where reverse slice is good. You Dawnbreak them, you knock them down, and if I reverse slice that, those other guys are getting hit as well. Okay? So that's where that burst is handy. What is good to show you here is me open field fighting. Watch my stamina. Watch how I control my stamina with such low stamina. Because I do have low stamina. And it's important to see how I control it. These guys are kind of light. Easy to take down. There's an uppercut, execute, right? Don't even, I mean, we're 2-on-1 in some of these targets. We're just assisting. Here comes some more people. I think I get in a little bit of a struggle here, which can just show you, again, the Stam Sorc maneuverability. See, I just knocked that guy down. I Dawnbroke him. I took him out right away. You see I'm getting low here. I streaked over that terrain to stay alive. Threw up a rally. See my stam's very low right now? I should get it up. I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I need to get it up. So I'm streaking back. I'm going over. I Dark Deal. Vigor. I don't have any more mana, but I have an ultimate, so I want to get in there. I want to help close this party down. Still very, very low stamina. I'm in a dangerous place there. I want a heavy attack right now, really. If I got disabled right here, I couldn't break it. I would be fucked. So, you know, I'm playing pretty rough there. But there's shards. I picked up shards, shot my stamina up. I'm good to go. I have a pot coming up. Just came up. I just popped it there, so now my damage is burst again. I'm hitting a tank there. That's a tank I'm hitting, and he just got throttled. So, I mean... There's a good example. This is a good one too. Okay, this is a fair amount of people. I remember this. This was like a full raid coming at us, the 4 of us. And this again, it'll show you the focus bursts and just how the Stam Sorc plays in the fight. The rest of the group is Templars.
Son of a bitch.
Now we let them in. They're negating, so we hold our ults. Let them in. Pile them up. You pile people with this shit. Watch. Alright, you ready to ult? Now. Oh. Combo, reverse slice the pile. Now, the other thing that helps me a lot is the Templars drain bodies with repentance. So they see those.
Now, middle.
I already had another ult up because I killed people. Like you start slamming people with this build and you get new ults, and it creates a combo effect.
Enjoy the silence. I am debuffed, confirmed.
Yeah, they had me facade debuffed here. I can feel that, or
All right,
meatbagged,
we're
one or
gonna
the
push
other.
Out in 3, 2, 1, go. Hit that now.
They streak through it.
Ulted.
You see, like this is controlled focus burst, really,
Slammed him.
and it's very very effective. I mean, we're killing plenty more than us, just doing that. But I mean, you can see how quickly the rotation can run through targets. It's like I said, it reminds me of 1.6, and I really enjoy that.
Welcome to Dark Brotherhood, AD.
If you don't
FENGRUSH, Destroyer of Zergs.
If you don't have good defense or good response time, you're gonna get hammered. You really are, and I like that. You can't just sit back and get CC'd, knocked around, and just break it and heal up, because you could do that the last 2 patches against Stam Sorc. Stam Sorcs were just not threatening enough. Now some classes burst really hard, like Nightblades. They've really taken a step up this patch on burst. They're very dangerous.
Got some kind of healing.
I was healing debuffed again. You see, this is a problem with Stam Sorc. Like, I popped Rally and Vigor, and I just didn't get healed because the healing debuff. So that's why I died there. I mean, and I didn't have any line of sight to save myself, and I just went in big, relying on my heals, and I died anyway. But yeah, you know, we res and we kill these guys. Let me try to, again, just show more examples of bursting together. Oh yeah, all right. I just watched this one a minute ago, but this is a fun fight. This is really good. This is just me and Issa going in. He's the Stamplar. This is just us two fighting this. These guys are all sieging us. And you know what? I'll put the sound on so you can hear how we operate together. Like we just comboed there.
Yeah.
So we both ulted together. We downed a couple targets. Like alone, I would have trouble getting through some of these, obviously.
Oh, come on. How do I die there? It's a joke.
I run back here.
I like that.
But alone, I can still kill some people. Like that guy, easy to kill. There's definitely people you can still kill. But when we combo, we can kill people that even have good survival specs, which is important. See, like I just killed one guy with the Dawnbreaker straight out there. And that was just my ult alone. But a lot of stam management. It's important. Like if you use this build, you're gonna realize your stam gets shit on. So it's you can watch how I play in these videos, how I buy time and fill my stam back up. Because if you're outnumbered, you're gonna find it tough to use Dark Deal effectively. I think that's the biggest thing you have to adjust using this build. If you've been playing Stam Sorc anything like I have been, you have to learn how to use Dark Deal effectively. Like see how I'm running around corners, Dark Dealing right now with Vigor up? And now I'm ready to go again. I bought some time.
Stop it. Sit down. Down.
That dog was bothering me there.
Lisa, again.
So we just killed 3 there. Like, this is the combo of just controlled power. Because, honestly, the Stamplar is running pretty much the same kind of build I'm running. It's very effective. I think this is going to be a very popular build. Because it's very good controlled burst.
Fuck. I'm gonna die. I knew it.
We end up wiping these guys, too. Takes a couple times. They're just rezzing a lot. The key to killing a party like this is to kill a good chunk of them in one place and keep killing them while they try to res. Which I think we do here on this middle floor. See, a good chunk of them are just died there.
Barrier, wait for that.
But we need to just keep fighting them there. Watch, they'll just come in here and they just try to res. See, they're just rezzing in front of us. We just have to keep interrupting them while killing them. It's really a pain in the ass, but that's how you beat these bigger odds. See how Issa's running out there and chasing them? That's the wrong move. The better move is to stay on top of the bodies and not let them
Are
res.
they on elsewhere?
And just keep
Son
rotating
of a
your controlled
bitch.
burst. And he's killing them out there. That's good. But see, some of them will res in here. But we get good combos
Alright,
here, and they
keep
just...
this room down. Don't let them res. They're gonna try to res. They need it.
See, there's guys resing in the back there.
Ulting.
But when people are resing, they're not blocking. And if they're not blocking, that happens to
Second
him
ball,
right
they don't
there.
resist, they lose.
That guy just got busted. And then they all fall apart, you know. And this is how you break a big group with this style of play. See how you line them up? And you see how I maneuver? Which I can do very well with my move speed. I can maneuver the fight and streak and get where I want and line up very good Dawnbreakers. What's important to note about Dawnbreaker is it has a lot of depth to it, more than you would think. It's about 10 meters depth. So you just want to line up that cone properly. It's got a really good shot. You just have to get used to using it. And you can do some serious damage. It's really fun in this build in small group play. As you can see, just wiping out these groups that are bigger than us, and we couldn't do this before. This wouldn't have been possible. You know, last patch, our ults just wouldn't have done as much damage. They didn't scale with stamina. They weren't relevant. So, you know, that's how that goes. Let's try to find some other ones. It's the one we just watched. It's the one I just watched. Let's check out some other videos on here. Oh yeah, this one was fun. This is a real quick one. This is 3 of us just clearing the wall. So it's me, that same guy Issa, my Stamplar, and then the other guy is like a tank support Templar with healing debuff set up. And you can see he's casting guard on us. That's that red beam. So he's a tank and a debuffer as they try to fight us.
This is with reverse slice, mind
They
you.
they debuff themselves as they try to fight us as well. So see that Dawnbreaker right there, and then I reverse sliced 3 bodies, hit the floor, dead. Big burst. That was without a pot. I just pop my pot now, full standbar. I go in, another Dawnbreaker, reverse slice. It's really just about coordinating and working together with something like this, and you become very dangerous with what you can do. And we just wiped the wall off here. We just cleaned it off. And these guys really aren't. These guys aren't paying attention. They're fodder kind of. I mean, they just let us kind of rip through them. They played into us there. You know. Here's another little example of burst, I think. Yeah, so this is 3 of us going in. Let's put this speed down. You can watch it just unfold. There's like 8 of them there. You know, and we just go in and just watch the burst together hit. Here come the Dawnbreakers, mine, someone else's, and a third. And I mean, boom. It's just, they're fucking done, you know. So if you can work together well, one guy's spinning the wind. Oh, there came a third Dawnbreaker. It was pretty much just 2 at the start there. Then this stuff works really well. This is how you can just crush people. Here's, I think, the only 1vx I have right now of this patch. I went off on my own. But, again, you can see the burst of this build. This is a 1v5, I guess, if you want to call it that. Just come right in, Dawnbreaker after crit rush. One guy's dead, second guy's dead. Streak, disable him. Dead. Make sure my resources are in check there. My buffs were up. Reapplied Vigor before I went in because I knew I was going to take damage. Killed her. Dawn broke him. You know, 4 targets down just like in the blink of an eye.
From the Lord, you gotta stand and fight.
So, again, you can 1vx, but you have to understand, you will burn your resources really, really quick. So you have to, it takes practice and getting used to it. And if you're going to 1VX, you should use the Malbeth for sure. The Malbeth's going to make all the difference in the world in that situation. I think there's a, I'll just show like one more. Again, there's more of these videos on my YouTube you can see, but is this the right one? Yeah. Okay, so we all rally here. My support / debuffer guy pops a warhorn here that's why we're rallying. So he warhorns us, extra stam, extra crit damage. You see all the people here? I mean, you can see how many that is, a good chunk. And we just it's like half the raid with a good coordinated strike. So Dawnbreaker is smiting, baby. Get used to it. It's really good stuff. So I don't want to sit there and eat up all the time, but I do want to just put them in one place because I know a lot of people aren't going to surf through my YouTube. So if you want examples, they're in the video now. But I don't know. I cut some really cool clips using this. It's really fun. It's good stuff. I'll work more on like 1VX type stuff, and maybe I will do a separate build for it. But I'm probably going to try 1VXing more with this build and seeing if I can get used to it. That's pretty much it. Usually I fight around on my builds, but I figured I'd just show some clips to show you how it's used effectively and like what I'm actually doing with this build, because again, it's focused to be a group build, a small group like strike build, and it's very effective at doing that. So I don't know if I missed anything. I will check chat real quick to see if I missed anything. Otherwise, that's pretty much the build. And if you have any questions or things I forgot, you can post them in the comments of the video. I'll check it out. If I make updates, I'll put it in the comments of the video as well. Like, hey, I'm using this poison now. Because I'm probably going to use a poison, so I might update the build and say, use this poison. Or, you know, use this or that. I don't know. Just stuff like that. So what else? How does your reverse slice do 91%? Mine does 80%. I don't know. I don't know. Mine is really good. It's top notch. I'm 100%, man. So yeah, I don't really see any questions. Between Bloodspawn and Malbeth, which do you think is better for 1VX? Malbeth, hands down. The more people hitting you with Malbeth, the more chances you have for it to proc. It can proc at the same time on multiple people. Malbeth, I'm not joking when I say it's broken. That motherfucking set is broken. And the heal it gives is not battle spirited. Okay? Every heal is fucking battle spirited. Malbeth's is not. It's goddamn broken. If you have it and you want to be a dick, then use Malbeth. Because the set is crazy. And the way you play a Stam Sorc, just getting in the thick of the battle, going in and out, you have a lot of chances to proc it. Obviously, if you break that 10-meter beam, it breaks that buff. But the set is strong as hell, man. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap it up there. You have any questions, let me know. Hope you guys enjoy this build. I think if you use it,
bitch.
you're going to have a hell of a time with it. It's very fun. So, thanks for watching.